All right, everyone. Yeah, welcome again to today's math question. So today I'm going to be talking about programming and programming language. So the question is programming and coding the same thing? You're like most people. Someone who is not a tech enthusiast or who doesn't really know much about tech, you might think they are actually the same, but they are actually different. All right, so just like a chef and a cook, they both work with food. They are, and yet they are different. A chef is different from a cook. So programming and coding each have unique roles in the tech world. So today we're breaking it all down. I'll start with coding. Now, coding is the act of writing code. Means you putting instructions into a language the computer understands. And for example, like Python, Java, or C++. And these are also referred to as programming language. So it means these are language your computer can understand. So coding is that act of writing the code. Okay, so you think of it like translating your thoughts into lines of instructions that the machine can follow. It's about taking one task and telling the computer exactly what to do. It means you are thinking of something and then you want the computer to replicate it. So coding is how you put down that instruction for the computer to understand and do that task you want it to accomplish. Now you can imagine programming as designing the whole recipe. It means and coding as writing down each step of that recipe in a way the chef, which is our computer in this case, understands. So they both work together actually, but they are both different. So when you are coding, you are basically the translator between human ideas and computer language. So it's straightforward. It means you are telling the computer what to do line by line. Okay, now programming is the bigger picture. So while coding is a part of it. So programming involves designing. Yeah, it's not just coding. It goes into the designing, structuring, and then you are trying to solve a problem. When you are programming, you are not just writing code. You are planning a system to make sure it works as a whole. So programming includes, deciding on the best way to tackle a problem. It means there might be many ways to solve a problem to carry out a task, but programming is one of the way you decide, okay, which is the best way or to go about this. How the best way to structure your code, testing it and fixing any kinds of bugs. That is programming. It goes beyond just you writing the code and getting a task done, right? So one is a single task and other is the full process. So think of coding as a single part of programming. Just like writing down ingredients, is not the same as cooking a meal. So coding is just one part of the programming process. It involves a lot more, like understanding the problem, creating a plan, and testing solutions, which may be more than one. Now, coding is like filling in one section of that plan. Okay. Another illustration is imagine you are building a house. Now, programming is like creating the blueprint if you want to build a house. You have to decide on the structure, the number of rooms, and the layout, how you want the house to be. Now, coding is then like laying the bricks. Now, just putting those bricks one by one to design that bigger picture that you already designed with programming. So just one part of making the whole house. So you need both, but they play different roles. So in short, coding is just one step in programming. Coding is writing instructions, but programming means managing a whole project from start to finish. So think of coding as writing maybe sentences and then programming as creating a story. You can write sentence, but those sentences does not necessarily come into a story. But then for a story, you need different sentences to make up a story. Okay, so you need both to build something that works, but they serve different purposes. So if you are getting into tech, here's what you need to remember, or you someone use that term around you, then you should know the difference. So you start with coding. If you are getting into tech world, then because this is the foundation, you learn the languages first because you need them in programming. So the languages come first, which is where coding is. So you learn the languages. Like I said earlier, you have Python, C++, you have Java, and HTML and the likes. So then the second thing to note is what you think about problem solving. So it means, like I said, programming is about solving real world problems. So practice creating projects and solving complex tasks step by step. So give yourself projects on, oh, this problem, I want to solve it. It may be a problem someone has solved before you, but then you want to solve it through your own writing. You get that? So coding can just be, oh, print hello world, something like that. But when it comes to programming, it's much more than that. It goes into designing apps, website, and the likes. So practice both of them. So coding will get you familiar with the languages, and the programming will help you see the big picture, like how apps and websites are built from scratch. That is programming. It goes beyond writing one or two lines of code. Now that you know the difference, so which one are you more interested in? If you are someone going into tech, is it coding or programming or both? So let me know in the comments. For those of you who are not interested in going into tech world, I believe you know the difference now. So if you learned something from this video, hit like and then subscribe and stick around for more tech content that breaks down complex topics like this one. If you know someone who might be interested in learning about this, share to them. And thank you for watching. See you in the next one.